Okay, so this video is going to be about density. And density is a way that we can compare the mass and the volume of a substance. So it's the mass per unit volume. That means that you're going to have two labels. So we could have something like 2.3 grams per milliliter. So you can see there's two labels. So I have the mass part and I have the volume part. I could also have like 15.7 kilograms per liter or 8.65 grams per centimeter cubed. So you're always going to see two labels like that when you're looking at density. When we think about calculating density, density is mass per unit volume. So the volume is on the bottom. So D equals M over V. So let's just say that they tell me that I have a mass of 50 grams and we'll say a volume of 3.8 milliliters. So if I want to find my density, I put my mass divided by my volume. Then I'll take my calculator, 50 divided by 3.8, and you can see that my calculator is going to give me a really big number, but 50.0 only has 3 significant figures, and 3.8 has 2, so I'm going to need to round my answer to 2 significant figures. And the 1 next to the 3 means that it's going to stay the same. So this is going to get me 13 grams per milliliter for my density. Now, it's also possible that they might tell you that an object has a density of 8.9 and a volume of 37 milliliters. And they may say, what is the mass? So I'm going to use my density equations. So density is equal to mass divided by my volume. And one thing I want to check is to make sure that this milliliters and this milliliters are the same and that I didn't need to convert. If they had given me this one like in liters, I would have to convert that first before I put it in my equation. So here I can just cross multiply those numbers. So I'm going to take my calculator, 8.9 times 37, and I get a big number again. And 8.9 has 2 significant figures and 37 has 2, so I only need 2. The 9 is going to make that 2 round up, so this is going to be 330 grams, and I picked out the gram parts because that was what was in my density. Okay, so a lot of times they're going to give you a problem and they're going to ask you, or they're going to have you give you something that they used volume displacement. So this would be, let's say that you had a block and you measured the mass of this block, and this was 46.3 grams. Then you had a graduated cylinder. So we'll see if I can draw my graduated cylinder. Oh, lovely. Okay, there's my graduated cylinder, and we'll say that I had some water in here. And this was 51.7 milliliters. Then I put the block in here, and when I put the block in here, there's my block, the volume level rose. And let's say now it's at 63.8 milliliters. So that's what they mean by volume displacement. When I drop the object in here, it's going to displace water and cause that water level to rise. And that's a really good way to find the volume of an object that doesn't have a regular shape. Like this is a nice block. I could measure the length, width, and thickness. But if I had something that was irregularly shaped, like a piece of jewelry, this volume displacement method is a very good way of finding that volume. Okay, so this rose up, which means this difference in volume between here and here is going to tell me the volume of my block. So I'm going to take my 63.8 minus my 51.7. That's going to tell me my volume. And 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. And then to find my density, I take my mass divided by my volume. Okay, again, big long number on my calculator. The 46.3 had 3 sig figs, 12.1 has 3, so I need 3. So the 6 next to the 2 is going to make that round up, and I get 3.83. Okay, and then lastly, let's just look at one where we would have to find the volume. So let's say that they give me my density, okay, so they give me the density and they want to know the volume if the mass is 4,630 grams. Okay, well, first thing here is this is kilograms, this is grams. That's not going to work. So I'm going to convert this grams into kilograms. Okay, so since I have, this is my base unit, so if I have grams and I want to go to kilograms, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left. So 1, 2, 3 to the left. So I'm going to have a mass of 4.630 for my kilograms. My density is 6.3, and I'm trying to find my volume. So in this case, I would multiply those two. So 6.3 times V is 4.630. Then I would have to divide both sides by the 6.3 to get the V all alone. And once again, my calculator will give me a big number. Lots of digits, I mean. So we had originally 2 significant figures, and this one had 3 significant figures, so the least amount's 2. So I'm going to get 2. So 0.73, because the 4 makes it stay the same. And then I need a volume label, so this would be liters. Another way, sometimes people get confused when they're supposed to divide and multiply. So another way that you can do this, since this was 6.3, I just did 6.3 over 1. And then I always make a fish. So I need to find the V. So I would cross multiply, so take 4.63 times 1, and then divide by the 6.3 to get my V. So that kind of helps me decide if I'm supposed to multiply or divide. But you can always work it out like this way. But that way you won't end up in divide and take 6.3 divided by this one and do it incorrectly. Okay, so there's our video on density.